You're such an asshole.
Hello, children. That's the chef children, not the three dog children. And speaking of children, only savvy people understand the thumbnail that I gave with Nicholas Wolfwood, because he was always about the children. And I got right here. I just saw this. Somebody mailed me the children's drawing. I believe this is from Selena. I got this in the mail. And so somebody's kid want to draw me. And if your kids want to draw me pictures, by God, makes Cappy's day. This will probably go up. That definitely is going into the memento box. Because even though I don't want kids, I do. I remember what it was like to be a kid. I remember being a kid, and kids are precious. Anyway, we have a sad request, and I'm unfortunately going to give you a sad answer. Hi there, Aaron. I hope you're doing okay. 30-year-old Frenchman asshole. Been with my wife for 12 years with no kids and freaking happy that way. And then he complains. It's like, I hope my English wasn't too bad. Dude, you got freaking down. It's pretty good. My upbringing was real strict and violent, which made me not want to have any kids. I was kicked out of my house at 18, decided to move to England. I lived there for 8 years, came back to France for a weekend and met my wife. Funny how life works sometime. We live right next door to the in-laws in France. We share the same back garden on the countryside. I do my best to help out and pull my weight. Well, as long as you support yourself and, pay your taxes and make your wife be in shape for your wife. The issue is with my wife's sister's kid. Nephew, niece. So you're 39. So this would technically be your niece or nephew. Nephew. Okay, so it's a nephew. He's a parasite on benefit, freeloader scum. He's the only grandson and has been spoiled all his freaking life. Everything that he asks, he gets from the in-laws. His only fake achievement is to have spit in another parasite's pussy. Dude, you have mastered the English language just fine. You're like Eddie Izzard, great comedian. He could do his shtick. He could do his performance both in French and English. I think you have the same command of the English language. I think you'd be just fine. Into another parasite's pussy, another freeloader was born. He doesn't even raise his kid, nor lives with his parasite girlfriend. He sells his weed in his free house and lives off of it for free. I tried a few times to set him straight, even beat him up when he slapped grandma. He slapped grandma. Like that, I think, regardless of our cultures, if you ever slapped, unless grandma like really deserved it, was a psychopath, I think every guy here, regardless of background, would be like, yeah, that guy's, where'd he go? What happened to Frank? I don't know what happened to Frank. He hit grandma and then he just disappeared. And there was no investigation. I don't know why that bouquet of flowers do really good over there by that garden, but I don't know where Frank went. He touched grandma and now he's gone. Where'd he go? And disrespected grandpa, but after a couple of days, he will get his way with them and would all be forgotten. I think he meant forgiven. How can I stop caring about this and escape this rising anger every time I see him? I do apologize in advance if my English was not properly written. It was fine, man. It was fine. I'm a bit out of practice with the S and not the E, which is fine. All right, I'm going to tell you here's the problem. You, me, and every other individual that is an independent-minded man or woman can see everything that's wrong with the world. It's like Neo in the Matrix. And you could see it all. And you could predict things that are going to happen, like, no, don't do that. And after seeing several youngins that were not my kid, I don't have kids, but I don't know, like the children, and I'm like, stop, no, do X, Y, and Z. And after seeing enough of them go from little innocent children to young adults who are screwed, in life. And it did hurt. I won't lie. Okay. It did hurt when several kids, I'm like, you should do X. You had me. Like, what are you doing? You should, you know me. I've talked to you. Child 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What are you doing? Majoring in history. And then you start to realize that you are only one individual. You are an outside observer. And you are not only not blood related to this kid, you are removed from this kid because you are the technically step uncle, I guess would be what you are. And therefore you don't have that much influence on the kid. You're asking me the question, how do I, with my intermittent and very sparse, infrequent interactions with this kid, save him from a lifetime of parental mal upbringing? I'm sorry, I'm using so many different words, but in other words, like as an uncle, like, even with my nieces, I see them very regularly, but it's less than 1% of the time I spend with them compared to their parents. The parents are there. And this is the unfortunate reality you have to accept, is that his parents and grandparents, his entire family has spent way more time. I mean, we're talking tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, amount of the percent of time that you have with that, occasional interaction with that kid. And you're not undoing that. It's like when American parents send their kids off to the public schools and the kid comes back all warped and fucked up and thinking that Marx is great, and they lecture their dad about being white or having a penis. And dad's like, what? And these are Minnesota fathers. Well, I'm sorry, I'll cut it off because I'm a Minnesota male. Because they're pussies. It's because the teachers have spent more time with the kids than the parents. It's so, whatever the environment, I'm sure the kid was brought up in, I can't imagine anything more pussified than French schools. French public education, holy shit. Do they give you a dildo to shove up your own ass? I mean, holy cow, that just sounds horrible. But in addition to pansified schools, the parents obviously haven't held this kid up to standards. And here you are. The guy's already got a kid. He's an adult, I presume, at least 20 years old. You're not undoing 20 years of indoctrination and programming and brainwashing or just an environment. You're the uncle. You occasionally come in every once in a while. Now, if I can't imagine what that scenario was like where the guy hit grandma and you had to beat him up. Like, that's horrific. It's just horrific. But one, you're not going to change it. And that's the whole point about children, innocent as they might be. You're not going to save them. They are doomed. When you have parents that love themselves more than they love their kids, and that's you say, but they treated them so kindly. No. They didn't want to do the hard work and discipline because they love themselves in the ease of life of being a parent. They're essentially a breeder, not an actual parent. Then actually the hard work and effort that goes into raising a child, telling the child no, holding them up to standards. It's easy just to placate the child, to bribe the child. Oh, time out. This is why I hate millennial fathers, because they dare not spank their children. And it's because they don't love their children enough. They fear the ill feelings it would be to actually be a disciplinarian. And that's what you had a kid whose parents didn't love him. And now, shock of shock, the kid is grown up maladapted and is spitting out other ill-reared children. And you think you're after 20 years minimum of that environment with parents, and so you think you're going to come in there with the magic silver bullet and turn the kid around? So unfortunately, as it is with often the case, most of these kids are doomed to fail, and you cannot save the children. So the only person you can save is yourself. And if this kid is already hitting grandma, now I don't know what the laws are like in France, but this is a kid to avoid at all costs. Like I got this one kid, like this kid is not allowed to set foot on my property whenever it gets built. because of the legal risk. Because the kid is so misbehaved and so poorly reared that I would have to physically stop him from literally setting the house on fire or taking a car out, even though he's not 16. I mean, the kid he's not a psychopath. He just didn't have a dad. And when I look at this child, it's not like, oh, I got to raise him right and turn him around or blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, this is a legal risk. Now, if you had to physically beat this kid up, now you're facing assault charges or whatever it is in France. Right? This is a bad person to be around. And now we face the paradox or the situation where, okay, I have a buddy who's a pothead, and because he's always high, he accidentally leaves a bag of marijuana in my car because it fell out of his pocket. And then when I get pulled over for a taillight out, now I'm the one in jail. And so it's like, those who lie with dogs get lice. I think that's the saying, or those who wrestle with fleas get lice or whatever. Those who lie with dogs get fleas. All right. If you have anything to do with this kid, even being within his presence, your risk of going to jail has increased 100%, 100-fold, more than 100%, but 100-fold. This is it's not a child anymore. It's an adult. All right. You stay the fuck away from this guy and you make sure that kid never comes into your house. Like, hey, little nephew, Jose, or whatever his name is, what's a French name? Jacques. Little Jacques is coming. No, Jacques is not coming to this house. Get that fucking piece of shit out of here for moral and principled reasons, because he's a piece of degenerate shit. But more importantly, because of legal reasons. Like, nope, he's not allowed. He is not allowed on this property. And your wife, my nephew, women across the country, across the world are the same. Say no. And for your own protective, forget your psychology. And you're like, yeah, he's gone. You're not going to turn him around. Give that one up. That's over. You're not going to save the child there. I'm talking for your own personal safety. And I'm not talking like he's not going to be, he's a weakling. He's not going to beat you up physically, but he could charge you with something. When he hits grandma one more time and you deck him, then there's assault charges against you. So this is just a bad person to avoid. And you are never going to save him. You are never going to save him. You are not going to undo 20 years of adult brainwashing. You're just a parent brainwashing. It's not going to happen. All right, let's get to the super chats real quick. See, yeah, Road Crusader. I came for the Trigun Wolfwood cover. Captain's probably telling something pretty harsh today. Yeah. Wolfwood was a very tragic character. One of my few personal heroes. There's John McClane, Nicholas Wolfwood, Jack Walsh. I'd even say Chris Muir, who's a real individual, day-by-day cartoon. But there's very few heroes I got. James G, $2. Did your new property come with land? No. How? No, it came from outer space. What do you mean did it come with land? Of course it comes with land. James, how does a property not come with land? What am I building on? Like a hovercraft? Chris is Black for $5. Saw 6 tornadoes. Oh, you bastard. Chris, you're going to email me the pictures. Saw 6 tornadoes yesterday near Vernon, Texas. The whole event lasted over an hour. I'll email. Oh, God bless you. Oh, boy. That must have been great, man. Oh, good for you. Oh, that made my day. That made my day, Chris. That is awesome to hear. I'm very happy for you. Oh, man, you guys all get. I haven't found gold and I've never seen a tornado. Those are the two things I failed at. And having sex with Jennifer Aniston, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I think 2 of the 3 are a little bit more likely. Oh, that's great. 6. Oh, that must have been a hell of a storm. James, $2. Are the mosquitoes really bad in South Dakota? Like, no, because there's no, well, it depends, right? There's a town called Watertown. Now, it may shock you. There's a lot of lakes nearby Watertown. When you have stagnant water, yes, mosquitoes form. But in South Dakota, as long as there's no water nearby, there's no mosquitoes because that's where they have to nest or fest or whatever. Now I do have a pond in the back of my yard, so I probably will have mosquitoes. But when I go hiking, I've never had you go out west, there's not enough water out there for mosquitoes to exist. I did hike near the Missouri River in Theodore Roosevelt National Park, or Teddy Roosevelt National Park, Medora. And there were horseflies out there, and that was miserable. We had constantly like a horsetail take our shirts, and me and a girl I was dating a long time ago. No, the mosquitoes are nowhere near as bad in South Dakota as in Minnesota, so you don't have to worry about that. James G, $2. Did you see healthy food restaurants in Wyoming and South Dakota? No, it's very rare. It's very rare. You got to get into a major city. But that can be said of anything when you're driving on the interstate. Like you got gas station food. That's it. Here's your Flying J. Here's your Loves. Here's your piece of pizza. So I do forgive myself when I'm driving. Now, if you're willing to like add multiple hours to your trip, you can drive off into town and usually find something that's a little bit healthy. But no, you're not going to find traveling across the country, regardless of the state you're in. You're gonna eat for shit. All right, that's it. Questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. See you guys later. Toodles.